And hello, everybody. Welcome to Beto on Base Live. It's Monday, January 17th. We're well into 2026, and it's an off day in the regular markets and the stock market today because of the MLK holiday, but definitely nothing stops in the crypto market. There's a lot of news happening that came out today. Interesting news that I think changes things a little bit, or at least makes people are gonna have to be aware of kind of what's going on. If they're not, I think the landscape is changing. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. Just wanted to say hello to you guys. Thank you for joining today. We're streaming. I'm streaming on a special time slot today. Mondays, I usually do Mondays 7 p.m. Pacific, just because of what my work schedule and so on and so forth. But today I had the day off, so I did some ran some errands. I did some stuff. Had a breakfast meeting with a friend, then had a lunch meeting. So I've been eating all day. I've been trying to eat healthy though, but have had a pretty good day. So hung out with some really good friends, talked about life and that sort of stuff, and now talk about crypto with you guys. Talk about some of the things that are happening in terms of the market, but also not just the market, also the just the world we're living in terms of finance. And I'll definitely talk about a couple of news stories that I think are very important, a couple of news stories that I think you should be aware of, and that I think are definitely changing the landscape. It's funny because today when I walked in here, I had not really dug in deep into what was going on in terms of news, in terms of for the market, for crypto and all that stuff. You know, it's a holiday in the United States for many people. Many people don't celebrate or observe, I should say. You're not celebrating a lot of these holidays, but a lot of people don't observe this holiday, MLK. And you know, I was really distracted this morning, but then I came in and I saw a couple of news stories that I think are interesting and that definitely you and I should be aware of and should be paying attention to. And I'll talk about those in a second. One has to do with the New York Stock Exchange launching tokenized trading, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about Coinbase as well, what they're doing. I think it's good for you and I if you have investments in crypto projects that are on the base chain. I think we're looking good. And then I'll talk about a couple of the projects that we usually follow here on Beto on Base Live. Some of the projects that I take a look at. I saw a couple of them taking some hits, just maybe a little bit of a sell-off on an off day today. Who knows? Because I haven't seen any of the macros that are changing dramatically. Tariff talk, I think we're starting to get a little bit more numb in terms of the tariffs and all that. But I think in the general sense of things, it's not smooth sailing, but it's steady as she goes. So anyway, just wanted to say hello to you guys. Thank you for joining. If you're just joining, if you're watching the recorded version of this stream, I appreciate you for watching as well. I think this is this is the third one, so this is a great opportunity for myself just to share some thoughts and share, a little bit, just a tiny bit of the things that I've learned and the things that I gathered throughout, a couple of years or more in the market. But also at the same time, I think it's just a place for me and for you guys and for anybody listening or watching to just make sense of the market, right? I think, to be honest, I don't think there are very few experts, and sometimes even in the market, and I think this is something that you will agree, even in this market, when you have experts, it's really hard to follow and to trust some of the experts because obviously they're biased with their investments, right? A lot of these huge opinion leaders, key opinion leaders or KOLs, but also just the bigger names that are part of exchanges and that are part of big crypto projects, when they say something, you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's likely that they're posturing that they're trying to move the needle in a certain direction, and it's very seldom that you get honesty, 100% honesty in the market. That's something that I've learned. There's a few people out there that I do trust. You can evaluate your own sources of information, but in my case, I think there's a couple. But in the end, I just sit here in my computer or watch my phone and read and analyze projects and sentiment around certain projects and narratives and that sort of stuff, and then just try to make sense of it, because I think that's the only thing that we can do when we're retail. And I think that's a responsibility that you have, right? You can't just go in here, Money is hard to earn outside of crypto. Inside of crypto is very difficult to earn, but outside as well, you have to earn it. And then you have to make sure that you preserve your money or make it grow, right? So it's really easy to lose money. So it's important to just pay attention to what's going on. So that's why I'm here. That's why I like streaming. That's why I like sitting here and really making sense of the market with you guys. I love the feedback that I get either in the comments. So if you're here, if you're around, make sure to drop a comment, get into the chat box, whatever it is that you'd like to, share with me. I appreciate it. All the feedback is welcome. All the feedback is appreciated. So I'm glad to be here for a third straight week, and I think I'm going to definitely going to continue doing this as far as I can, as far as I can, take this, because like I said, this is a good opportunity for us just to chat about things and to get into the market and just make sense of what's going on. So had a good weekend. It was a good weekend in crypto. I think pretty steady. Not so much today. There was some selling in terms of Bitcoin as well. I don't know if it's because of the holiday. I don't know what's going on. I really didn't see anything huge that happened in terms of the market, but there was some sell-off. I'll talk about that in a second, but let me get to first, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is a pretty huge news that I saw today. And the first one that I wanted to share with you guys is this story about the New York Stock Exchange. And let me move this for you guys so you can see it well. There you have it. This story about the New York Stock Exchange, and what they're doing is that they're facilitating 24/7 trading with tokenized equities. So essentially, they're bringing crypto into the New York Stock Exchange, which is pretty interesting. It does two major things that I think are pretty important to take note. Let me read you a couple of things that it says here. It says the New York Stock Exchange develops tokenized securities platform, will facilitate 24/7 trading of U.S. listed equities and ETFs, will allow for fractional share trading, will offer immediate settlement via tokenized capital, etc., etc., etc. This is still in development. There's a lot of approvals that need to happen when it comes to this sort of stuff from the SEC. And then who knows how long that takes. I read that this is potentially going to be rolled out later in 2026. I'm pretty sure that they've been working on this for a while now. And for me, there's two things that I think are important to note here. But let me see if I can grab a little bit more of this information for you guys. You can look it up, actually, do your own research, do your own due diligence, but just wanted to share this with you because I think it does a couple of things when it comes to crypto in the market. One, very important, I think it's another sign that the traditional finance is adopting crypto, specifically in this case, tokenized securities. And I think it brings just a whole new level of adoption at this point, exposing a lot more people into the technology that quite possibly maybe they already know about, they hear about it, but they're not really meddling in it and they're not really investing in it. But the fact that crypto, or the fact that they're going to be launching tokenized equities and, there's going to be a 24/7 trading platform through the New York Stock Exchange, a lot of these investors that don't touch crypto are just going to maybe become curious, right? A lot of these folks are probably older generation folks that have been, trading traditional, right? Maybe they started trading paper and that's how they began. And at this point, crypto is starting to creep in, say that 10 times straight. It's starting to creep into the traditional finance. And eventually I think it's going to take over. It's going to change things. And this is just another sign. By the way, shout out Armando. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you and appreciate your TA. But definitely it's one of the things that we need to keep an eye out. So the first thing that I think, it's just adoption is accelerating now at a very interesting pace. And it's good to keep an eye out. Now, the one thing that I think eventually is going to happen is that this is going to put pressure on exchanges that are crypto only. And when you start mixing, traditional finance and traditional trading and equities and crypto at the same time, it's definitely gonna stop some folks from coming full blown into the crypto sphere, right? I think that's something that you definitely need to pay attention to. And some of the crypto only exchanges, I think they should be paying attention to this. Now, for you and I, and I'm assuming that most of you guys here are on the base chain, and yeah, you might meddle on maybe Solana and some other changes, some other chains, but for the most part, your projects are that's why I'm Beto on base. Most projects are going to be here on the base chain, I assume, for you and me. And so one of the things that I think is important is that we're on the base chain, and Coinbase is already kind of integrating trading, crypto, and all sorts of stuff in their apps. So to me, this is a huge sign for anybody that's on base that Coinbase is ahead of the curve, and they're doing everything they can to be ahead of the curve when it comes to adoption, and they're facilitating adoption. And I think that's important to know. And then to me, that's a flag, or that's a red flag, or a good flag, a green flag, I should say, that we're in the right place, right? They're moving fast. They're trying to get ahead of it. They're involved in all the legislation that's happening. They pulled their support for the latest version of that bill, the Clarity Act, I believe. They support the Coinbase did not support that, so that's why it's stalled. But they're looking out for crypto, and I think that Coinbase is doing a really great job of advancing in a field that's ever changing, and that's just going nuts with adoption, with new things happening like this 24/7 trading of listed equities in tokenized assets. Shout out to BTCB Space. Thanks for joining, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you here. Good to see you guys here. Thanks for joining, guys. Just having a pretty interesting day, interesting conversation about this. So anyway, the two sides that I see, and definitely there's a lot more things to consider when something like this happens, like New York Stock Exchange developing a tokenized securities platform. One, the adoption is really good. The second thing that I was mentioning is that this puts pressure on crypto only exchanges, but fortunately for a lot of us, we're on the base chain, and Coinbase is definitely an all-around app at this point, right? So to me, this is good stuff, interesting stuff. I don't know how soon this is going to be launched. I don't know how soon this platform or this way of trading is going to happen. But if you're into stocks, it'll be interesting to see if all stocks are tokenized, if everything's tokenized, or just certain ones are tokenized, or how this is rolled out. That's going to be interesting to see, interesting to experience. I don't dabble a lot in stocks at this point. I'm all 100% crypto. I used to do a little bit of stock trading, more like stock investing in stocks and ETFs and that sort of stuff. At this point, I'm all in on crypto, just because of the potential, return on investment is bigger, obviously higher risk, but a lot more to gain. But anyway, I think this is definitely something that's an important move in the market, and definitely should keep an eye on it. At least for now, it's been announced. It was announced, rollout possibly 2026. And I think that's something that I'll keep an eye out for you guys, and I'll bring it up anytime that I see anything new. But anyway, do your own research, check it out, Google it, or, ChatGPT it, or whatever you get your information nowadays, and read about it. There's a lot of opinions out there from, folks on Twitter, on X, I should say. You can gather all that information for you. So another interesting thing that happened, like I was saying, is that Coinbase, Coinbase always doing their thing, right? Always moving faster than other chains, always moving faster at least than other companies, and now you can actually create. Well, this is a little bit older one, but I was looking at this, and this is another part of what I was saying. The story is from 2018, December 18th, last month. But, you can create your stable coins on, eventually on Coinbase. So just another example. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Just another example of how Coinbase in the base chain is really just a step ahead of the curve, or a step ahead of others. And, they get a lot of crap. I gave Jesse a lot of crap when he launched that coin, Jesse. And we were just going through, I think it was December, and then everybody was going through, a lot of red days, and it just felt like another extraction. Maybe not extraction, because that money, that liquidity stayed on the base chain for the most part. But to me, it was a pretty, pretty nothing burger when it came to that coin, Jesse. So I've criticized, and it's on my timeline, and I'm not afraid to talk, about what I like and what I don't like. But for the most part, I can say that Coinbase and the base chain, I'm pretty excited of, having my assets or having my funds in a chain that's very proactive, that's doing the work to get ahead. I'm not 100% knowledgeable about other chains and what they're doing. I know Solana's another top one, and I mean they're doing great. But at least from what I get and from what I read, Coinbase is doing a great job of facilitating adoption and to really getting ahead of things, because that's what you have to do, right? That's what you have to keep doing. That's what you have to continue to do if you want your business to continue to prosper. And then this is another flag, right? Another good thing that investors like you and I, when you see the proactive approach of Coinbase, we might not like it sometimes. We might not like some of the things that they do, but they're definitely thinking outside the box and really going ahead and doing things so that we can push forward as just an ecosystem. You and I and everybody else that's on board with Coinbase. So anyway, good stuff happening in the market. A couple of stories that were, or at least one story that was really interesting that I thought it was significant enough to bring it to you guys. Again, thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you. I know it's Monday and a holiday, and some of you guys are chilling. I'm chilling here, just talking crypto, which is something fun that I really like to do. Anyway, let's continue moving on. Let's talk about a little bit of Bitcoin in the market in general, kind of how it's doing. And there was a little bit of a dump earlier today. Now we're at 92,000 when it comes to Bitcoin. It's been stable over the last 7 days, only a 1.5% change to the upside from the last, in the last couple of, at least in the last week or so. We were up to 95, I believe, 95,000. Let me see that. Yeah, we're doing all right. We were about 96,000, almost actually 97,000 on the 14th. So just a little bit over a week ago, around a week ago. Now we kind of saw a sell-off, but I think it has to do with the market as well. Some people are distracted with the holiday. Whether you observe or not, if you're not working, you're doing something else, right? So I think a lot of people are doing that, like I was doing earlier, just doing other things instead of being by my phone or the computer, just actually touching grass and talking to people, and that's always good to do. But anyway, I see Bitcoin right now at 92,000 and a half, 92,500. That's at the time of recording this live stream, or the time of the streaming, and it's still holding, right? It's been almost like in an accumulation phase over the last 7 days. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes from here. I know still I've seen a couple of analysis done that I might go down a bit more, maybe go down again into the 80s, and then really catapult as we get into the end of Q1 and then Q2 and possibly alt season in Q2 and pre-summer. So we'll see where that takes us. But for now, Bitcoin is at 92.5. Ethereum is again over $3,100, almost $3,200. It's up 2.8% over the last 7 days. And again, it also pulled back a little bit with Bitcoin recently. And obviously, a lot of these bigger chains and bigger projects, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP. Another one, Solana, also dropped, and Dogecoin even. So I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what was the catalyst, but everything moved down as it typically does when something like this happens. But anyway, Ethereum is nice to see Ethereum at 3,100 again, actually above now for the first time in a while. Let's see how it's been doing for the past week. Ethereum, I think Ethereum is still one of the assets that I would like to accumulate more. But yeah, again, same pattern than Bitcoin. And we'll see what it does as well. I think it's still holding steady. We'll see where it goes. I think tomorrow it'll be a good day to kind of see where the market is heading once people start, paying more attention to their phones. Michael, good to see you, brother. Good to see you too. And if you guys are hosting your TA or your VC, I'll definitely be joining because I love your insight you guys. Let me know. But anyway, so that's what's going on with Ethereum, with Bitcoin. Now, the total market cap for crypto continues to be at around 3.1. It's still like about 1 trillion below what it was last year. I remember it exactly being 4.18 trillion at one point, or 4.2. So we're still well below with that peak. So I think there's still a lot of room to grow. And also the fear and greed index, interestingly enough, it's up to 45. And I don't really feel like we're there yet, but you know, it's showing that we're getting to the middle point. And I mean, that's good, right? That's good. That's something good. At least if you're in the market and you're hoping for green days, I think that's a good one. I would like to see it move, more and more, but I would also like to see the market kind of react a little bit better. I think there's still a lot of choppiness. I think there's still a lot of, liquidity moving around and rotating. But definitely, I mean, I wouldn't expect pumps like full on retail bubble or retail bull coming. I think that's still yet to happen. That's coming soon, or not soon, but in the next, 2, 3, 4 months maybe. But I like that the crypto fear and grid index is now moving up a little bit. So we'll see where that goes as well. And then finally, the alt season barometer, I should call it, or the metric, it's still at 26 from 100. And definitely that's something as well to keep an eye out. So still not an altcoin season. We'll see how Bitcoin does and Bitcoin dominance and all that stuff. But anyway, I won't get into too much of that today. So let's take a look real quick at the base chain projects that we have. SHIB on base, still solid. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11th spot with a $6.6 million market cap. I know some folks might have Brett Toshi. I used to. Definitely interested in Dep Relief Bot, just because of how it's doing recently. I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't have anything invested in it, but definitely one of the projects that I think can definitely move up quite a bit. It already showed its strength, and it's up at $23 million market cap. That's a nice market cap. Obviously, it's small compared to Bitcoin and those, but 23 mil, that's looking good. Brett 148, and those are still kind of where they're supposed to be, at the top of the hill. King of the hill is Brett for now, by a few $1 million. But again, SHIB on base, it's above Mr. Miggles with 6.6, and then you got Crow with Knife. I don't know a lot of folks that have Grow with Knife, but I know that's a project that's been out for a while. Kibo SHIB went up. I think that's an AI project. It was below SHIB on base, and it just pumped. It's been pumping recently. Let's see what's going on with Kibo SHIB, because I think that's interesting that it just started pumping. I'm not really familiar with this project as well. Going to do some research on this, but definitely, let's see. From the 15th of January, 16th of January, it was at a 6.8 mil, and now it's at almost 8 mil. So it's had a good couple of days, 2-3 good days. So it's doing pretty well. Nice volume, 148,000. Not crazy, but not horrible. So doing good. So Kibo SHIB, let's see. Interesting. Let's see if there's any news. So no news on that. But anyway, interesting project to take a look at. I'll take a look at it more closely. But then you have the other ones. Obviously, Punky and DGen are also kind of rivaling up there. Above the 25 mil market cap. So the base chain looking good, still looking the same. Toshi and Brett are the kings of the hills eventually. And I'll talk about SHIB on base in a couple of minutes. I'll take a look at the chart for you guys. I'll take a look at a couple of charts on the base projects that I follow. As always, if you want any projects to be followed in this stream, or just on my timeline, I normally focus on a few. I can't really focus on everyone, but definitely if it's interesting and if it's moving the needle, I'll definitely take a look at it just to chat about it, because I think the more you know and the more you become aware of other projects and what they're doing and how they're doing, I think it just gives you opportunities to not only to make money, but also just to learn about what's going on the base chain. So Why don't we take a look at SHIB on Base first? Because I think that's the project that a lot of us are mostly interested in because of the developments that are happening around it. SHIB on Base, if you are new to this project, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you have a little bit of an understanding. SHIB on Base, community takeover, and it's been around probably since last summer. So we're heading on to like 8-9 months now, I believe. And developing an app, like a veterinarian app, that's going to be revolutionizing, and I strongly believe that that's going to revolutionize pet care and animal care for anybody that owns animals, anybody that has pets, or even if you're a vet yourself, a veterinarian yourself, you're going to have this tool available to you, and it's almost ready to be released from what I understand, from what I've heard, I should say. And it's just a waiting game so that the Apple Store approves the app so that it can go on sale and go live. Google Play Store or Google Store already is it's approved there. So I think some people have already registered for the app. And let me tell you, I already used it when I was in the beginning stages of the testing, and it was pretty fantastic. I don't have pets myself. I was using it for my wife's mom's pet, and it was wonderful. Like, it was something that it was like ChatGPT better and more specific to what you're using it for. The main thing that I think is going to be like, and I've talked about it before, it's like it's based solely on research and journals and scientific studies and information that's medically based, and it avoids and eliminates hallucinations. And you can get a lot if you've used ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever it is that the platform that you're using. If you use it enough, you can find that it's intelligent, right? But you can find ways of sometimes tricking it, or sometimes getting the answers that you want depending on the way you ask the questions. That's one of the things that I believe Eli 5A, which is the technology behind the app for SHIB on Base, that's a technology that's going to eliminate hallucinations and eliminate these false positives. Maybe you could call it like that, right? So when I was using this app, I was asking it questions, and it would ask me questions to clarify. It would actually rule out things, and then it would just, performance analysis and tell me, hey, your puppy is fine. Let me know if in 5 hours it doesn't, it stops, vomiting or whatever. It was pretty awesome. It was almost like having a veterinarian in the house. And look, most of us barely know how to take care of ourselves. So sometimes we don't know how to take care of our pets. So this is important, man. And so I solely believe that this is going to move the needle so hard, and so many people are going to fall in love with this app, and it's going to be widely adopted. And I know there's a lot of apps out there, AI apps or AI chatbots and stuff, but this is different, guys. And once you see it, I definitely recommend that if you're following the stream, after we're done, not right, or you can do it right now, go and register. If you have an Android, go and get that app. I believe it's still available to register. If not, definitely just wait. If you have an Apple or iPhone, wait for the app to be released. Just keep an eye out for it on X, following the SHIB on Base account and the i5a account, and then you'll get notified as well about when it's released. I'm just waiting for it. I can't wait to download it and share it with my friends. I can't wait to download it and kind of chill it with in person and really talk about it like it's my project. It is. I have a huge interest in this, and I think it's going to do great, right? So anyway, to the chart. Just been playing around with some patterns and some of the things that I'm looking for. Obviously, this is the daily chart. I like looking at the daily because it really paints a really great picture. It was almost like forming a cup and handle. It's not necessarily very symmetric because there's, this would have to be kind of up here, and I don't think it even wicked up there, but it's maybe like a little crooked cup and handle. But it's forming, right? It's forming right now, and it looks like there's a little bit of green now showing. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. There's a little bit of green showing on the daily today on the 20th. Well, that would be tomorrow. So I think this is taken into consideration tomorrow. So yesterday was a red day, a little bit of a drop. It now looks like it's bottoming out, which is interesting. And then I would expect another green candle, and then it starts pushing up again, and getting out of this accumulation zone, and maybe breaking that upper end of that accumulation zone, and then retest the all-time high again, which is 8.5, $8.6 million market cap. And again, once we're in the clear, it's going to be fun to see where it goes. Price discovery time, which is going to be fun to see. But definitely doing really well. I'm going to zoom out a little bit on the daily so you guys see kind of the structure, the full structure of what's been going on over the last few weeks. It bottomed out at around 1.7. This was October 15th. It was after that huge liquidation day on October 10th. Remember when a lot of people got liquidated in the market? That was the bottom at this point, but it really it's a V-shaped recovery right there. It was amazing how the community came back, and they just picked up this huge section of the chart right there. And then it peaked again at 4 mil, and then it started consolidating again. So anyway, the community's been strong. That's something that I definitely look at when it comes to projects. And I think we're good. I think we're just in a waiting pattern. I think the app is going to be a catalyst that now some folks are waiting for as well. And I think that a lot of people are keeping an eye out on this project, and they're possibly even waiting for like a higher market cap, maybe like a 10 mil, 15 mil, so they can jump back in with more funds and with more money into this. I think that's something that's possible, and that people are going to FOMO into it. My strategy was different. What I did is just go in and position myself, and then just lock it up. Right? I have my tokens are in a cold storage, so I really shouldn't be talking about how I store my stuff. But anyway, just my strategy is I'm holding, and I'm watching, I'm supporting the project. That's it. Some people don't. Some people will buy, and they'll get out of it because they want to, they're chasing other projects, they're chasing other green candles, and then eventually they'll come back. So I think a lot of folks that are already aware of Chevron Base, maybe they have part of their funding here, and then they'll bring more. So I think once we break into the all-time high, above the all-time high, we're going to see an influx of people that are already here to bring in more capital into this project, or people that have no capital at this project but have this bookmarked. They'll eventually come here again, and then sit on it, and then we'll see some great moves as well from Shivab Base. But again, we're waiting for that app to be released, which is going to be pretty exciting. And exactly, I think that's Michael, what I'm seeing. I'm glad that you're also seeing it, because sometimes I don't know if I'm right when I'm doing some TA, but I'm looking at that really nice structure right there, and I appreciate the confirmation. Michael, nice bull flag followed by a possible cup and handle. Yeah, possible cup and handle. We'll see what happens. And what I'm saying is, I think it's going to be a cup and handle, because look at what the RSI, and shout out to Armando as well for teaching us about the. Let me do the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour chart. Let me do the stock. Am I the right one? Wait, is this Eli? No, this is Shimon Base. So let me do the stochastic. I'm going to do the stochastic. The stochastic RSI. Man, I can't type. Stochastic RSI. Here it is. Let me show you something that I saw. This is right now. This is the 4-hour. Let me close the gap. There's probably a little bit more of a downtrend that's going to happen. Let me do it. Actually, I was doing it on the daily. I think the daily paints a better picture. And look, it's about to cross, I believe. It's getting close to crossing. It's already oversold. We're at the bottom. Let me do a quick arrow for you guys right here, so you can see that we're down there. I think that's a double bottom on the RSI that's about to form, and then we'll see that orange or that blue one cross, and I think that's when we see Shimon Base again start heading upwards. For now, it seems like it's oversold. Definitely see an uptrend happening soon with Shimon Base. So anyway, that's the daily with the stochastic RSI at the bottom, double bottom, and then I'm going to show you the weekly. Again, I like looking at the larger time frames. I'm a very visual person. I'm very pattern oriented, and I've mentioned this before. Look at this pattern that formed well at the beginning, and now look at this pattern that's forming here. Obviously, it's not the same, but definitely interesting. And look, let me show you something real quick that I just saw. This circle right here, like this right here, this right here. Look at this pattern right here, like this pattern right here, and check out what's going on. Check out what's going on right here, over here. So look, is it gonna happen? I don't know, but it sure looks like that pattern is kind of repeating, right? Maybe accumulation right there, and then hopefully we'll see the big up thrust here. Let me do it with a thin arrow. Up thrust, kind of like that, kind of like how it happened earlier in the project. And I think it coincides with the app being released, so definitely think that it could happen very soon. Maybe more like somewhere around here, like in a week or two, especially with the app. So, it's fun to play with the chart. It's plan to kind of see what's going on. But if you're like me and you parked your funds on this project early, it's just like a wait and see game, and it's just it's gonna happen, right? So let me jump into Eli 5A because it had a really good couple of days recently. It broke the all-time high. It's below the all-time high now. I honestly didn't expect it yet to go into the upper 1 mil market cap or above 1 mil, because I think the volume is not there. One of the things that I know that I take a look at always is the volume. It tells you a lot, kind of what's going on. There was some volume for that pump that took us to 787 or so, $790,000 market cap. But it's doing fine. One of the things that I was mentioning in a quick video that I did yesterday is that Eli 5A is still yet to be discovered by a lot of people, and there's still a huge opportunity here because it's a very solid AI project, and it's going to be pulled up by SHIB on base, and just with the thought of SHIB on base being in an upper trend and creating awareness for Eli 5A, I think this project is also going to do very well. I know the sentiment's the same among the community, and just the fact that this is the real deal when it comes to AI projects, right? Especially because of that feature of eliminating the hallucinations in AI responses, which I think it's important. My buddy today, we were talking about Gemini today and ChatGPT, and how sometimes he's a journalist, and he was saying that he uses Gemini for researching stories for his show. He has like a 4 a.m. show or something like that. I saw him afterwards for breakfast, and he was saying that he uses Gemini for it, but it often messes up, and it'll give him a story between, let's say he asks for 10 stories, right? He'll get 10 stories of news today, of what's going on in the world, so on and so forth. And then one of those stories might be from the same date, like today's date, but last year. And so those are the mistakes that AI still does. And Eli 5A is eliminating those, at least from what I understand. And that's going to be a major factor in the success, not only of this project, Eli 5A, but also of SHIB on base, the SHIB on base app. And so if you're doing that, I think you're doing something right. But Eli 5A, again, it's at 3 cents right now with a $623 million market cap. Still a lot of upside. There's $5,200 in volume over the last 24 hours. So not horrible, but this is a project that I think eventually, when a lot more people start flowing into the market, a lot more people start flowing into crypto and specifically the base chain, this project is going to fly. Whether it takes maybe a year, or maybe 3 months, 4 months, 8 months, I have no idea, and I don't think anybody knows. A lot of things, there's a lot of factors, a lot of moving parts in this, and I think you can definitely agree that is likely going to be what happens. So Eli 5A doing really well. It broke the all-time high. I would expect a retest soon. I think for now, let me see what the RSI is doing real quick. for you guys, and just to see where it's going. And yeah, it's cooling off a little bit because I had a huge pump starting on December 30th, right before the new year. It went up and then it's kind of consolidated and then back up. So I would expect a little bit of a sell off right now, but again, I think it's going to pump above the $800,000 market cap fairly soon. Because again, I think people are now learning about Eli 5A not because of the app yet, but I think in social media I've seen a couple of posts like people using Eli 5A to debunk certain things. I saw that there was somebody used it on TikTok and so on and so forth. So it's just good news, right? And look, this is a project that it's not getting a lot of publicity. There's no marketing. At least I haven't seen marketing, like straight out marketing about the project. It's just what they're doing, like proof of work, and I think that's even more solid eventually. It's slower, right, for a project, but it's solid because you know that it's not hype and it's not just fluff. There's actual work being done behind this project. There's actual results being shown, with this project. So again, I think when the app's released, maybe it won't be instant, but I think eventually people are going to catch on that Eli 5A, this technology is really great, and they're going to start adopting, or not adopting, but pumping funds into this project as well. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin on Base and Bitcoin on Virtuals real quick. These are two projects that I enjoy. There's a sell off on Bitcoin on Base after the airdrop on the 15th. I believe there was an airdrop. I got my airdrop. Basically, if you're holding about 2,400 tokens or more, you're able to receive airdrops every quarter. There's a pool of money. They're mining Bitcoin, so it's converted into Coinbase Wrap Bitcoin, and then they airdrop it to you if you're holding 24 tokens or more. And 24 tokens is about $400, something like that. So not a lot, but also it's not cheap. But it's something. Obviously, if you're holding more, you get more. But anyway, it's a project that's working. It's in tandem with Bitcoin on Virtuals. And Bitcoin on Virtuals had a huge sell-off recently. It's been selling off. I just recently bought a little bit more yesterday because I saw that the RSI is extremely oversold, and it's about to cross. And this is the daily chart as well. Let me show you kind of down here, the green arrow down here. I was looking at the RSI, the stochastic RSI, and it's about to cross over. So it coincides with this support level, the yellow support level that you see right below the big green arrow at the top. It looks like it's touching, it's bouncing, and it's also the upper trend line that was there. So there's a couple of points there, touch points in terms of support level from previous resistance and support levels, and then the trend that you see right there might be the point of bounce for Bitcoin on Virtual. Still very early, not even 2 months old, but every trade, every buy and sell is producing a yield, like a tax, that's going to fund new mining rigs. Right now, Bitcoin on Virtuals has one mining rig in its arsenal. Eventually, they want it obviously to go up in numbers, and that's going to fund the airdrops for Bitcoin on Virtual as well. So the more people trade this, the more people buy and sell, the bigger the mining rigs, and it's honestly like a flywheel, right? And so what happens with Bitcoin on Base and Bitcoin on Virtuals, this mining is going to fuel both projects. It's almost like a flywheel. If you have both, you'll earn both yields. So anyway, it's cool dynamic. Check it out if you haven't. But this is a good chart right now. At least I think it's a good chart if you want to swing trade. I don't swing trade, but if you want to swing trade, this is somewhere where I would be allocating some funds to see if not if, but to see the pump coming. I don't think it's going to go down. I think the bottom is I wouldn't expect it to go down. Yeah, I mean, there's a bottom at around $420,000 market cap, but I think a lot more folks have come in, and so I did buy a little bit more. I topped off a little bit, because I thought it was a great discount yesterday at around 600K, and now it's at 607. So I expect this to start moving up very soon. So that's Bitcoin on Virtuals for you, and I'm going to do Mega Base Coin because it's one of the newer ones that I love. Pretty cool community that's starting. I'm not too excited about this chart. I think there's some weird moves, but it's just it's just that it's early. but it broke out of that triangle that had been forming, that huge triangle. And then I was expecting it to actually move up, but there was a little bit of a sell-off recently, but it found the bottom, I believe. It found a nice support level at $485,000 market cap, and I expect that it's going to be holding at that level for a while now. So we'll see where it goes. Let me see what the daily's doing for Mega Basecoin as well. Yesterday was a huge red day. Well, not that huge compared to other days, but again, it's holding, it's holding that support level, at least for now. And I think it's going to hold. We'll see, especially tomorrow. We get more eyeballs and more people are willing to invest. But yeah, this is Mega Basecoin doing all right. I'm going to take out that that pattern right there that it was forming, because it already went past that and broke it. But anyway, there's almost, there's still almost like a flag morning. Let me see if I can draw a couple lines for you guys. Let's see. There we go. I still don't know what I'm doing sometimes with the TA, so maybe something like that. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on it. And then this, well, that's kind of odd. Let's do that, see what happens. Keep an eye out, see where it's going. But anyway, Mega Basecoin, another one that is going to eventually donate to charity, which is cool, and then it'll reward holders for holding. So this is a new thing. And look, guys, I want to show you something. If you're still watching, I want to show you, I posted a video recently. I'm going to show you just, the video that I posted. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. I want to plug it, and I want you guys to see if you can watch it, and then tell me kind of what you think. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, I think I'm going to go on X. It's in my profile. I want you guys to check it out if you haven't. It's a video about this one right here. It's a video about kind of what people are searching for in crypto, in meme coins in 2026. I did some research. Basically, a 5-minute video. Check it out. It's on the channel. If not, you can find it on my timeline on X. Meme coins didn't die. It says they evolved. These are the meme coin trends people are actively searching for going into 2026. I found that utility is number one, and I talked about utility being a game changer in a video last week. But utility, number one. AI, people are also looking for AI in their meme tokens, and then they also are searching for meme tokens that are part of an ecosystem, that are native memes. So, for example, if you're on the base chain, you're looking for projects that have some sort of utility, that have some sort of AI integration, and that also are within an ecosystem, right? Our ecosystem is the base chain. I think that's our ecosystem, and we're in the good one. If you ask me, we're in a good ecosystem. If you ask me, the AI part of it, look, SHIB has it, right? SHIB on base has the AI. Bitcoin on virtuals eventually will have the AI, and obviously virtuals is a whole different ecosystem, but it's on base. On the base chain. So, I count virtuals, the virtuals protocol, and the virtuals ecosystem. I count it as a base chain, and then utility. You're starting to see how most of these projects are going to have some sort of utility. You can't just be a meme coin with no value. And Armando, if you're still there, you've mentioned it a few times in your stream, and I totally agree. If you're a meme coin and you're not doing anything but just like creating funny stuff, funny images, that's great. It's great for kids that are 18, 19 at this point. And I'm not poking fun because I'm old, but definitely utility is important now. One of the tokens that I've shown you guys recently, it's Blue on base. That one is a straight out meme, right? That's a straight out meme. It's straight out because it is, funny cartoons, that sort of stuff. Let me show it to you. It's based on a luchador, the blue demon. It's a straight out meme, but this meme coin is going to have some utility, right? You can earn by staking. That's another part that people are looking for. And then you can also use their app. It's not released yet. There's going to be a decentralized app that's going to be part of Blue. And so I still haven't seen it. I can't wait for it. That's another catalyst that I think is going to push the price up. Blue is at a very low market cap, like 40,000 or 35,000, something like that. I'll take a look at it later for you guys in some other stream. But it's, I bought in at $12,000 market cap. It's at 35 or so. It touched about 38 yesterday. It's going to continue to move on, I believe. So Blue on base, just another example that you need utility. So going back to that video, if you can, watch it and share it in your timeline. I think I'm doing a lot more work to create these videos that are, that have some sort of value in terms of teaching, not so much teaching, but really bringing information so that you can make informed decisions and spot trends and position yourself accordingly, because we're still early. It's not as early as it was, obviously last year, but we're still early. We're still in a spot where you can position yourself in projects that are promising, projects that have potential. Not all of them do, but I think if you analyze trends and really read the market and kind of see where things are going, and always keep your head in a swivel, I think you're going to do very well in this market. Most people don't, because they don't do that, right? They don't do the due diligence. They don't spend time reading, looking at projects, reading what other people are saying, community sentiment, evaluating the communities. I'm working on a new video for you guys about how to evaluate a meme coin. I'll post that next weekend on Sunday. That'll be published. But that's stuff that you need to do. I was telling my wife, most people, if you make money in crypto, people that don't know about crypto are going to think you're just lucky, right? They're going to say, well, you were just lucky, you threw money. It's like gambling. Hell no, it's not. If you want to gamble, you can do longs, and you can, play with options and that sort of stuff. That's a little bit of gambling right there. If you know what you're doing, it's not, but there's a lot of gambling, and a lot of people gamble that way, and that's why they get liquidated. But there's a lot of work that comes with investing in crypto, whether you're investing in memes or whether you're investing in projects like, Ethereum or, Caspa or whatever it is that you're interested in and that you think is going to do very well. There's a level of due diligence that you need to do. There's some level of due diligence. Some people do more than others, but you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to check the market. You have to see what's going on with the macros, with geopolitics. There's so much there with legislation. There's a lot of work and time that's invested in this. And, hopefully you guys do very well this cycle, or this, the peak of the bull run, when it's all over and said and done. People are going to say that you're lucky. But deep down, you and I know that there's a lot of work behind this, and that there's a lot of time invested in this. And then that's like, the merit is in putting the time, doing your due diligence, picking projects that are solid, and really just being convicted, right? There's a lot of merit in that, and it's hard. It's a very mental position to be in. It's a very mental game. If you don't have the mindset for it, you're going to get wrecked. And you and I have seen a lot of folks that are, gung-ho about a project. They're all in, and then all of a sudden they'll just melt down and just go nuts, and then they'll sell their bag, and they're, doing something else. Who knows, man? It's just really difficult to understand the human mind. But what I'm saying here is that, really need to do your due diligence. And that's why I'm trying to bring value to you guys in these videos that I'm creating. This is the second one of a series that I'll continue to do. I obviously have this stream. I obviously have other videos about, charts and certain things. But these videos that I've started have some sort of value or bigger value for you, because they, I gather research, obviously use AI. I can't do all that research, but I use AI. I read through it. I make sense of it. I package it in a 5-minute, 7-minute video, and I post it up so you guys can check it out. So if you don't mind, if you have time, 5 minutes, watch that. Please leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything else that you might like me to cover in these type of videos. But this one is a good one, guys. It's about just how people are looking for utility, how they're looking for AI and the ecosystems for meme coins. All right. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. It was a good one. I had a ton of fun. I can't believe that 55 minutes went that fast. 55 minutes went quick. And I am excited to get going with a lot more research for you guys. I know I have a new video for Sunday. I'm working on another one where I'm just going to share kind of how I got rugged and how I learned from that, and just to help you or help some of the new folks that are coming into the market just learn about, the pitfalls, and kind of don't fall for the things that I fell when I came to the market the first time. So hopefully you guys are having a great start to your week. Thank you so much for stopping by Beto on Base Live. This was the third episode of this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know in your comments if there's something you want me to talk about, something you want me to cover. But for now, I think that's it. And we'll see what happens with the market this week. And I'll talk to you very soon, guys. Have a good one. Have a great week. I appreciate you.